Page 36, The Lion Sleeps Tonight. 4/4 time. It's got one flat in the key signature. We're in the key of F major. Make sure you can do the F major scale. Got some nice things going on, a lot of eighth notes and some syncopated things. Let's take it one hand at a time, make sure we get the notes, the rhythm and the fingering. At the beginning in the right hand, you're here. And you're 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 right there. If these syncopations are causing you problems, then take out the little tie and play all the notes, just temporarily. So I'd play all the eighth notes. 1 and 2. Like so. When you can do that, then go put the tie back in. You're just hanging on to the first note rather than playing it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's tight. So you can hold that down all the way through the full 4 beats and then rest. And that third measure, you're reaching down here. Then measure 5 eighth notes. Just a nice light wrist action here. So forth. Isn't that fun? You get to measure 8, the thumb comes down 1 note. The hand's really where it stays where it is, the thumb just comes down. Let's go over to page 37 on measure 21. It's the end of the third line, you're here. Then when you go to measure 22, just lift and come down. You got time. It's like taking a breath between phrases or whatever. That's fine. There's 1 and 2 and those notes are tied together. And the little curved line is really small. It's hard to see, but they are. So you tie the eighth note and the half note together. In other words, you just hang on to the F for the rest of the measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Measure 24. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then that's tied. And then during the rest, when you're ready to go to measure 26, you just lift and come back up. Just like it was at the beginning. The last measure at the bottom. You're ending it here, so you're in position, and that is an A and an F. It's 2 ledger lines below the treble clef. That's an A. Because 1 ledger line is a C. 2 has to be an A. Left hand. F chord, 1 chord, then you got the B flat chord of the 4 chord, and then the 1 chord again, except we're not using the C because the right hand needs it. And then during the rest you come down. And the last one. I like to alternate fingers, so you want to go a 2-1, 2-1. That's fine. That's good practice for more difficult music coming up. So on measure 4, it's 1 and 2. I'm using second finger twice in a row at the beginning of that. 1 and 2 and 3 and like so. You want to end on a thumb. That way you're in position to go on. You need an F next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Don't forget the B flats. So forth. Go over to page 37. Measure 15, it's a 4 chord. Then a 1 chord, and then the C's. Reach down to the octave, and then a 2-1. It's the same rhythm you had before, it's just we have to start with little finger. And then 2-1. So we're in position for the F. Put the hands together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so forth. Measure 5, then you're here. 1. Okay. I'll go over to page 37 on measure 22. You're here. When you've finished measure 21 here, measure 22, your left hand's in position, you're here, the right hand just comes down. 1, you got quarter notes in the left hand to help keep you straight, so you can see how the notes line up in the music as to which note in the upper staff plays with the quarter note. These are together, and these are together, but these are not. And then here, 1 and 2 and. You can do a 2-1 or a 3-1, whichever. And if they got big fat fingers or whatever, then you're gonna have to move and do something else, like a 4-2. So forth. Then we add the articulation. There's not a lot of articulation going on. Get to know the piece well enough you can feel it, because some of these you can play staccato. Some of them you're going to play legato. You just feel it. The accents, a lot of times in syncopated music, remember syncopation is when you play a note before or after you expect to play it. You're playing it when you don't expect it or something. It's happening. It's like these. So it's a 1, 2. That would be like normal, but when we just the tendency is to put a slight accent, a stress on the syncopated note. That's that's part of interpreting, and you just kind of do it. Put a little stress on the A, and that's just interpretation. Well, they marked a few of the accents, like on measure 22, you see it in the right there. Well, we'd accent it anyway, but make sure you accent. You want a little more because you're going to hold that note out a little bit, and you want to make sure it lasts. And the next measure, same thing. But in the next measure, I'd still the second D. I'd give it a little stress, and even the C, because I'm not expecting it then. So you can put in some accents on that, and staccatos. If you feel staccatos, put in a staccato. Just be creative here. Then you add that dynamics, and that's through the melody. Everything else needs to be well under it. These chords need to be soft. Whatever you think moderately loud, just sort of loud. And then measure 5, you're moderately soft. The left has to be soft. And then when you get to the bottom, the last measure, now you go back up to moderately loud. And the left hand's soft. And you're staying there until measure 17 is back down to moderately soft. And then on measure 22, you're coming back up to moderately loud. That makes the accented note a loud note. So forth. At the bottom, the last 2 measures, you slow down a little bit and go down to soft. Speed-wise, there's all kinds of recordings of this. I get gigged each time I put this piece up or a piece like it up for copyright, because it's copyrighted music. This arrangement is not there, but the song overall is copyrighted. So I have to turn the money thing off on this piece because it's copyrighted, and that's fine, I don't care. There's lots of recordings you can get, so moderately is how fast do you want it to go, it's up to you. Then we go at what they're talking about at the top of page 36 is swing the 8th notes. You see in different styles of music, blues, swing, and jazz, 3 styles of music. When you get 8th notes, you automatically always swing the 8th notes. And swinging the 8th note simply means you play it long short. Don't play them even. Like in measure 5, 1 and 2 and 3. The counting, you swing the counting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. There's no notation for this. You feel it, because those short notes are not necessarily always going to be the same length. Some will be longer than others. You feel it. And only the eighth notes. And if the arranger or composer wants you to do even, they have to put a note in the music, play evenly or even eighth notes or something to the effect to tell you to do them evenly. Otherwise, you automatically swing them. There's nothing in the music to tell you to do it, you just do it. Well, they're telling you here to play this more of a jazz style. Well, in jazz, we swing it, therefore we'll do that. So it's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So forth, and it's that way. Measure 5 is that. And that's swinging them. Now there's a note at the beginning of the second line there. I measure 9 above it to swing the eighths. But I'm suggesting to you swing all the eighths everywhere. Swing them at the beginning too. It's more obvious at measure 5 when they're all eighths. But even at the first line, the first eighth note will be a little longer because it's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 2 and. But then the next eighth note you play is going to be a short one. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So they're not the same length. So you feel this counting, this beat all the way through it, and you should do okay with swinging, I think. Then I've added a little bit of pedal on these notes, on some of these measures, like a measure 4. I disagree. I would like to hear some staccatos. Now, Faber does this a lot. They'll add the pedal right at the end of something. I would prefer to hear staccatos. Those, if I add pedal, it connects them. That's out of context. And it has the overtones. Well, I don't want overtones right here. And I would like staccato. I can play those short eighth notes staccato. So I'm suggesting you leave out pedal here. Now let's play this together very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. As far as the roadmap, it's fairly straightforward. No, it's not. It's got repeat signs all over the place. You see at the bottom of page 36, there's a first and second ending. We got to do those. And over on page 37, there's a repeat sign at the end of measure 21. That's going to take you back to the reverse repeat sign over at the bottom of page 36. The last measure, it's got a reverse repeat sign. Measure 10. So you repeat back to that and you do that again, and then you go down to the measure 22 and the line. Measure 22, that line is surrounded by repeat signs. You can do that twice, and then you go down to the last line and it's done. It's a long song. And we're going to do all that. We're going to do all the repeats and everything just as it's written. But I'll give us 4 counts. Let's just go real slow. And I am going to swing the eighth notes. 1 and 2 and ready and go. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1